Alright, so took some time. I kind of like freaked myself out because it's like I started making all these fucking plans. I just started making all these plans to just do this, and this. And it's like, one, am I even going to be able to afford all that? And by the time I get my groceries and my bills paid and stuff like that, am I still going to have that amount of money left over for, for actual spending at the end of at the end of after everything is actually taken care of. The problem with the situation is that between my mental health workers being able to only do what they can do, and the fact that the system is kind of how the system falls, and I have a really bad, very bad grocery store. It's basically around the corner from me, but it's a very bad grocery store because they price gouge and etc. Around the corner from me. Which the only option I would really have, right now is to go to the, go around the corner to the one. To the store, to the store, crawl, around the corner to be able to do what I have to do to get some of my needs met. I mean, I'm gonna get some of them met because some of them are probably the only things I could probably find over at at Stop and Shop. But um, if I was going to do my whole entire list over at Stop and Shop, I would be spending a lot more. There's so much money that can be freed up from my budget, but I would have to go to Price Rate to do it. But the thing is that with these situations, is you usually gotta wait until the mental health worker or the person for your mental health can actually get you to point A to point B. Otherwise, you have to schedule some type of ride to get to where you need to go. Plus, you need to make sure you're gonna have the money when you need the money to to get there and do what you gotta do. So it's a matter of a bunch of different things coming together and coming into order. But unfortunately, I gotta wait. I mean, I'm struggling right now as is with certain foods and stuff. Like I had to get creamer the other day with money that my mom sent me. I couldn't fully like treat myself with all of it. I had to get things I needed with some of it, which I guess in the eyes it's gonna be fair because she's still gonna get my mom's still gonna get kind of what she wants. Is the fact that I still gotta take care of me with some of the money she sends me. She really doesn't want me spending it too much on treating myself to the items that I want because she thinks all my needs should be met, and that's what she kind of sent it to me for. Actually, originally she sent it to me for seltzer waters. She originally sent me the money, the money for seltzer waters, and I'm still gonna get seltzer waters. I'm actually planning to do that when I go. That's actually on the Stop and Shop list because Stop and Shop usually, usually if I'm lucky, is usually on sale, and Stop and Shop is usually cheaper than Price Right, so that's why I want to go there. Not only that, I mean, I'm debating whether or not I should do it because I know that Price Right is cheaper in a way when it comes to picking up like diet sodas and stuff. But I did see that Stop and Shop has 24 packs of the Coke Zero. Of the Coke Zero, which is like zero caffeine and zero sugar. Zero caffeine and zero sugar of your Coke Zero instead of having like a diet soda, with all the sugar and caffeine. Because I'm having a caffeine problem for sure, if I could, I was just talking to our neighbor today. If I could get, if I could get coffee pods, if I could afford coffee pods that, were caffeine free, and I thought there was a good deal on coffee pods, I would get, coffee pods that are caffeine free, but not the way I blow through coffee. I mean, I use about like six to however many coffee pods a day, out of the month, because sometimes I'll have like 2 or 3 cups of coffee in the morning, and then maybe in the afternoon I'll have like a cup or two, or sometimes three, depending on how I'm feeling, Um, so the thing is that so you go through a lot of coffee pods, and unfortunately, the packs that I usually try to get that are available to me are usually like done in a 54 pack of the coffee pods, and I don't think they come within caffeine free. So that's kind of my dilemma with that. But things like caffeine and things like greasy foods and stuff kind of messes with my gastrointestinal problems, So I can't do things normally with that. So I would have. I've been kind of going off the diet, the traditional diet, anyways, of what I'm supposed to be doing for, making sure I'm not gonna like sometimes get sick. But I mean, you got to live a little. You got to be able to find happiness and be able to eat something. Um, so. I'm doing the best I can. I realize too that I'm getting overwhelmed, and the first thing I got overwhelmed with is that people are hijacking my fucking ideas. I'm not gonna lie to you. People are hijacking my fucking ideas. I have an idea to go to the fucking buffet on my own and go to the buffet and go to Goodwill on my own on Friday, right? Because I was gonna think about taking this ride service or this Uber ride up there and basically pay for myself to have a meal up at the buffet and then maybe just walk over to Goodwill, which is a couple of stores down from the buffet, right? So I was thinking about taking a ride all the way up to all the way up, the road to East Main Street and stuff to, get to the buffet. And I mentioned it to my friend Greg, which you got to be careful what you mention to him, because he wants to always be included, or he always wants to kind of capitalize off of other people's ideas or etc. But he might try to end up doing something up there. I don't know what he's going to end up really doing, but I know he said he did want to go to Walmart and get shoes or something on Friday. So, but I'm not necessarily part of his plans. I mean, he just kind of wanted to try to latch himself onto my idea about going to the buffet. As soon as I mentioned that, he's like, "Oh yeah, sure, I should go to the buffet when I get paid too." So it's like, you're latching yourself onto my idea. One, I don't want to be codependent on you, and two, you're like latching yourself onto my idea. It's something I wanted to do independently. That's kind of how I kind of felt with my mentor too. Is that they're making a big deal about my mental health workers are making a big deal about me trying to be independent and me trying to get from point A to point B to be independent. And my mentor kind of does groups to the buffet and stuff like that, and I understand that, but. It started off as an original idea, which I was talking to my mentor about me possibly going to the buffet on my own, and me going up to Goodwill on my own, just to give myself the time and give myself more time that I would normally even have. I wouldn't even have it with my mentor barely. My mentor doesn't give me enough time to really look. A lot of times with my mentor, he only has an hour, and by the time we get to Goodwill, he's like, "You got 20 to 25 minutes to look, and then you gotta come back. You gotta be out here by here, and then I gotta get you back home." And you just immediately usually drives me back home. If I'm sometimes lucky, goes through a drive-through. But regardless, it's like, it was mentioned to possibly go to Goodwill, on Tuesday, and that never happened, because he said to me, we're pressed for time, and I'm just like, okay. So the plans are magically changed because, you're a state worker and it's the same old bullshit. So I'm at that point now where I just want to do me. I want to do me and go out and have an experience and get out somewhere in Torrington where I can actually go to a buffet and spend an hour at a buffet on my own, take my time and eat and not be rushed, and then maybe walk over to, Goodwill and spend an hour not being rushed at Goodwill and looking at the books or whatever else I want to look there, and just take my time to do what I have to do. I don't really want to just, be rushed and say, "Oh, you got 25 minutes in Goodwill," or then you got such and such a time. I mean, obviously, sometimes I know my mentor too. It's like, when he gets a group of people together, he won't try, he won't basically, rush people. He'll try to give people time, but for me, what started off as an idea where people are pushing my independence, although this is not really about me trying to totally agree with everybody. This was just something I wanted to do on my own for myself, because there's something about my situation and about some things that's going on right now with me that I just need some time to myself. No fucking Greg, because Greg makes me want to shake the shit out of him, and rattle the shit out of him, because I just He basically told me today he basically tells me every time I try to rattle him, though, he has a pinched nerve in his neck, and I'm like, I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I want to just be cautious just in case. I want to kill the guy, but it's like, It's like, it's like if somebody has a pinched nerve, but I want to just like shake them, um, because he knows he's being a pain. Greg knows he's being a pain, and Greg knows he tries to push the limits to always get his way or always get something handed to him. And I mean, I mean it before too. I mean, Greg's family must come from money or something about Greg's situation has Greg depending on a money situation that my family really does not have. My family really doesn't have a money situation, and I know Greg has treated me and has been really kind to me and stuff too. But it's like I can't always fully be able to return everything in return because it's like my situation basically, I just don't have the resources or the ability to do that, especially with the plans and other things going on. Um, my mentor basically told me to be ready by 11:30 or call him by 11:30. Granted, whether I like it or not, because I did kind of realize the buffet opens up at 11:30. But granted, whether I like it or not, now I have to basically go up to the stores at 11. I'm going up to the stores at 11 instead of 11:30. I originally thought the buffet would open up at 11, but it's going to open up at 11:30 on Friday. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to end up probably going to Goodwill for an hour, and then I'm probably going to walk over to the buffet and then eat at the buffet for about an hour or so, and just take my time over there and have a good meal. It's been a while since I've been to a Chinese buffet. I mean, my family members haven't came up for a couple of years, and we haven't gone up to the buffet in a couple of years. So, I mean, I was pretty pricey. I know it was pretty pricey last time my mom came up. It was pretty pricey. She paid like 60, 50, $70 almost for like 3 people. She wanted to treat my mom's friend Rose, who came up to treat her, and it's just like it was pricey. I mean, it was very pricey for 3 people. It's like almost $20 a person. So, with prices going up with tax and shit, who knows? It might be $25 a person to eat. Who knows? I was kind of looking today too because I may have decided to not go over to Joann's. I'm kind of debating on that. Because I might spend $4 more. I mean, maybe it depends if I want to spend $4 more or not. It was never implied that the $4 would be added on or not if I went to Joann's, but there is something I want on. I can get it on Amazon too, and if I get it on Amazon, I'll include a poetry book by an upcoming New York, a talented New York visual artist and singer-songwriter and poet, that I'm actually like listening to, and I actually been following on social media and stuff like that, named Shamiqua Wilson. That's she's a pretty good she's a pretty good singer songwriter that I follow on YouTube and stuff, and she has a song called "So Long Farewell" that I really like. "So Long Farewell" by Shamiqua Wilson. That's actually one of my favorite songs that she sings. But I'm probably gonna post it later because I haven't posted too much of her stuff or too much of, because I follow her YouTube channel, but she hasn't posted too much lately. But I want to get her poetry book, and I might just get her poetry book with what I wanted to get at Joann's, but I might just get it through like Amazon and have it shipped for free. I'm paying a little bit more, but it's I would probably walk to Joann's and I'll probably pick up something else at Joann's too. It's like so either or, it's like it still would probably work out the same way. I mean, the question I have for myself is that when I get paid, do I do it right away or do I wait? Because with everything right now, everything seems very rushed. And like I want to go do this, and this, and I want to go. It's almost like I want to go rush to do it. And really, I really need to just fucking chill because I don't have my bills paid yet. I barely had my grocery shopping list written out until like an hour or two ago. I mean, so I'm pretty much at this point now where I'm almost like self-sabotaging because I'm going a little too fast or I'm making all these plans. Like obviously, if you make all these plans and stuff, you got to realize that when you make all these plans sometimes cost money, and it's money that goes out the door for each plan that you make. So you want to be mindful of how much plans you make, so how much money you spend, because you don't. I don't have all the money in the world. I'm not gonna have all the money in the world for the month. I'm not gonna have it. And it starts off with, like, fucking sabotage, because Greg wants to be, sabotage, and he didn't like the fact that I was gonna make out at the buffet, or I was gonna go by myself, so he wants to try to include him, or try to do what he has to do. I know what Greg, Greg's unhappy. Greg was unhappy to hear the fact that I was gonna go on my own, and that's pretty much why he wants to go to the buffet, the buffet on Friday, because he was unhappy that I was probably gonna go on my own. I'm pretty sure of that, I mean, the thing is with Greg is he wants to do all these plans too, and I have to tell him too. It's like I might be able to do some of them, but it's like I gotta watch my budget, and there's things I gotta focus on too. When there's other things that need, my adult attention and my adulting to be able to get done and to be able to be handled and stuff like that. There's times where I'm not gonna be able to do certain things with Greg. Greg's gonna have to be more on his own, because it's like, get into the web of, doing things with Greg, I'll end up broke, because Greg just likes to spend money out to eat all the time, and it's like, I tell some people, it's like, for me, it's like, I can't do that, I gotta be able to cook at home, I gotta be able to spend time at home and cook, and be able to do what I need to do to take care of myself, I mean, obviously, Greg's older, and he's at the place now where he doesn't feel like cooking, and I mean, that's a place that people might go to in some point in their lives where they might not feel like cooking at a certain age, but for me, I'm still young, and I still gotta cook, and I still gotta worry about my budget and my bills and all this other stuff that goes on, I mean, I can't have all my family members hand me money and this and that, because my family members aren't made of money or etc., I mean, I've been in Torrington for almost 15 years, probably 15 or 10 years. I've been in Torrington. I came to Torrington. I was placed in Torrington. I actually was in a group home, so I was actually in a group home here in Torrington. Originally, they put me in like a traditional group home that was supposed to teach me skills so I could actually learn to grow and prosper, to live on my own, which this basically is my first apartment. I mean, if I became homeless, I probably would get another apartment eventually, but this is my first apartment, It's an affordable apartment. It's in my first apartment. It's not the greatest apartment. It's not the greatest living conditions, but it is it is an apartment. It has been my first apartment. The walls, if the walls could talk, if the walls could talk, they would say many things. They probably would scream at you with all kinds of traumas and pains and trials and tribulations, and I feel like writing a poem about one if the walls could talk now, because that seems so profoundly deep to write a poem about. But I'm at that point now where it's like, I don't know, it started off as my idea is getting sabotaged by people who want to use it for their glory or their benefit, and I'm almost at the point now of where if I don't have certain payments by a certain time by Friday, and if I don't end up having the payments or etc., then maybe I'll just cancel the buffet and everything altogether, and maybe reschedule something later on for another week to go to Goodwill or the buffet. When it's more beneficial to the budget and etc. If it actually plays out that way, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I actually called my mentor and I explained to him. I mean, it's not really against him totally, but I feel like his status or his job where he kind of spends time, spends an hour with me each and every, every so often, like once or twice a month, that there's some times where it's not enough time to really get out and see life or get out and have an experience of getting out of the house or getting out to meet people. I mean, and I don't want to say that I'm giving into the whole push and pull of them trying to push me into the whole thing about using the Uber ride to get out and actually do these things, because that's exactly what they're trying to do. But in this particular case, that, I just, with everything that's going on with me personally, which there's things I don't want to talk about right now, but I just needed to get out of the house. I just needed to get away. I just needed to do something for myself that was going to get me out of the house and get me out of this atmosphere for a little bit, and just to get me, get me to the point where I can just, do something for me and just, and just be happy about it, And then it turned into, oh, my friend Greg's going to come up, or he might show up, and wants to go to the buffet too, and he can. It's his right. I mean, it's a public place, but it's at the same time, it's like, I almost wanted to be careful about telling Greg anything now, because Greg is like, trying to bogart everything for him, my mom kind of, got, kind of got a little frustrated with, too, because I mentioned to him too, I might be getting paid tomorrow and Friday, because I get something on the 1st and the 3rd, so, but the 3rd is actually a Saturday, so I'm getting it on Friday, I should be getting it on Friday, so I should be getting 2 checks within the next, 48 to 24 hours. But, point being is that, he was like, because he was talking about going to get a pizza. Then he's like, oh, I want to go. Are you going to get a pizza? We can use a pizza. I'm like, I kind of had to look at him and say, Greg, look, I'm not going to be able to go get a fucking pizza. I'm not going to be able to fit it in my budget and fit it into everything I need to do, because I have other plans and things I need to do. It's like I have to include him if I'm going to go do something sometimes, or, or if I get money, he wants me to include him. I meing, obviously it's nice to have a friend to include in certain things, but you shouldn't have to feel like you have to include them in everything all the time. I mean, obviously, the thing that sucks around here is that, a lot of people don't really have people to hang out with, and etc., right? A lot of people don't have the people to hang out with. So if you find a friend, if you find a decent friend where you can go walk with, or you can go out to eat with and stuff, and actually have experiences with, where you can go out to eat and see life and etc., then that's a good thing, But Greg likes to capitalize off of people at times, and he always gets the better end of the deal, But sometimes you feel like you shouldn't even bother for him, because he's getting the better deal anyways, and and there's times you should just save your money for yourself, or your situations for yourself, So I mean, I got a little frustrated with my friend, one of my neighbors and friends, because she had a coupon, buy one get one, and took him out to McDonald's and stuff, and I don't know. I mean, I'm a little frustrated with, but obviously, he has more, he might have more hookups than I do, but I mean, my hookups were never with the dramatic, dramatic dramas of, the mentally ill, mental health neighbors. My whole like being had nothing to do with the dramas of the mentally ill neighbors that I do have. I mean, obviously I have my dramas with my neighbors. My neighbors struggle with their mental health and etc. There's things, and we bicker, we fight, we argue, we have our moments, right? I mean, I obviously can't stop that, because I have to live in a low-income housing, because that's the only way I can actually afford anything that I actually can do. So, I mean, that's basically what I've been told, because I obviously can't get a job, or I have no work experience to fully get a, job, like I could work a restaurant, or etc., Not that I'm going to be happy doing that, or not that I feel like I'm going to have the skills, or whoever want the skills to do that anyways, but, there's a bunch of things I want to say about, work and this and that, but I don't even want to get into it, because I know I'm going to hear backlash from some idiot that wants to open their mouth and, protest my happiness, or what I'm trying to do, Point being, I'm just trying to be happy. I'm just trying to get shit done. I don't know. I mean, my mom's not going to come through for Greg. I'm sorry to tell that to Greg, but my mom's not coming through for Greg, My mom's decided not to come through for Greg, because Greg's been capitalizing off of people. He has people to make, And my mom's like, oh, why should I send you 30? And my mom's like, $30 is a lot of money to send you, Carl. I can't send you $40 for you and Greg to go, eat here and eat there. I'm like, well, okay, Mom, don't worry about it. Because at the end of the day, Greg's always going to make out fine, because he has family in town and etc. that can actually be there for him, and he kind of has worked out a system like that. Me, on the other hand, I don't have family. I mean, there was a time I used to have family. I used to have, there's people I could count on and stuff, and I used to be able to have people I could go see during the holidays and stuff, and, I feel like I had an extended family, and that was actually twice at one point, but both those situations had ended. Both those situations had ended because my mom fell out with her ex-boyfriend, which is almost like a stepfather figure. He was recently one of the people who passed away that really kind of influenced my music and etc. But he recently passed away. But I mean, obviously, we would go over to his sister's house during the holidays. We would go over to his sister's house and in Orange, Connecticut, and she had a pool during the summer. So during the summer, we would go over to the pool and swim, and sometimes we would bring music. We would get stuff from the Italian bakery, and we would go eat a nice meal during the holidays, and then we would have a good a good thing where we would have things like turkey or and things like pastries and things and coffee to have to be able to sit down and enjoy the holidays. But that idea of family was meant a lot to me at one point. It meant a really lot to me at one point, and the fact that I don't even have that in my life now because of choices my mom made, choices my stepfather figure made, and choices people are going to say I made, but I can't go back in time. I mean, even if I wanted to go back in time, even if I wished to maybe go back and maybe address some things and some people say everything happens for a reason. Obviously my mom's ex-boyfriend or whoever that was who passed away wasn't the one or isn't the one. I was meant to learn these hard lessons to put me on this path to be an artist or to do whatever I'm doing for whatever the fuck reasons I'm supposed to do it. But regardless, there was an aspect of family that I don't really have, and that's also what's annoying me with Greg is that Greg's kind of using his aspect of family to really get what he needs and wants, and it's kind of it's not even about the money factor that's holding over my head because I'm obviously struggling to make ends meet to just get the money and the stuff I need to get my my needs met, but it's a family factor too that he has a family to do things with and etc. And stuff like that, and it's I don't have that family aspect in my life anymore, and it just brings up a lot of frustrations and pain and anger because I don't have that in my life, and yet he's getting his way because he has people being able to help him provide for himself, so I'm a little pissed off about that, but I mean, obviously, families are going to be there for families, so unless you're my brother who is a sorry excuse for an Italian, because Italians are never supposed to let a stranger come between family. Italians are never supposed to let a stranger come between family. Or some type of bitch. Because my newfound sister-in-law, his new girlfriend is a fucking bitch. But regardless, Italians are not supposed to let, and the thing is, I don't think I was actually, fully seen as family. I was seen as blood, but I don't know if I was fully seen as family. That was always my question, because there were times I didn't feel like family. There were times I felt left out. There were times I didn't feel like family. I didn't feel valued, loved, or respected by my brother or my extended siblings. Granted, it's only some of my extended siblings in the first place that would actually have a connection with me because, my father slept around and was a fucking bastard and pretty much, created a whole bunch of children and stuff and has to pay child support for 6 different women. That's basically my family, or my situation, but, despite that factor, there was a time I almost thought my brothers and I would be part of a family or something that would really mean a lot to me in the family aspect. But that's never going to be in my life, That's never going to be in my life anymore. So, I'm a little mad at Greg for his family aspect and for him, how he's kind of milking it and how he's kind of getting the easy way out. And, people really need to because we all know Greg. I mean, I've learned things about Greg, and some of it's kind of irking the hell out of me the last couple of months that, he's just getting his way. He's learning techniques to get his way, and it's annoying the fuck out of me, Granted, I said it already. My mom sends me, occasionally she'll come through for me and she'll give me money and stuff, and she'll say, okay, here's money, and do this or use this for this and that, right? Well, she doesn't want to do that anymore. She doesn't want to necessarily do that anymore and be able to give me money because, She feels like, if anything happened to her, I would be too dependent on that money and stuff. And then it's like, if she wasn't around, then there's no way that she would be able to, it would be a problem, because it's like, how would I survive if my mom wasn't there. It's like, Greg's older, and I mean, I think if his family members weren't there, if his brother and sisters weren't there, then, Greg would be in a lot of fucking trouble, and he's basically 70 years old, and, sometimes acts like sometimes an immature adult, but, I mean, obviously Greg is a really nice person, and Greg can be a very nice person, but, and he has been very nice, but, I am a little frustrated. I am very, very frustrated, because he could treat people better. He can treat people better. He can be, I don't know, but I'm very frustrated with Greg. But the point being is that I almost don't want to see Greg at the buffet, but it's like, I can't do anything about it because it's a public place, and if he wants to go and show up, he will. But it's like, it was my idea to go and just do what I need to do on my own, and then it turned out to be like, shortly afterwards, I mentioned it to my mentor, and he wants to turn it into a goddamn group, and almost wanted to include me in the group, and then I'm kind of like having second thoughts, because I'm not going to have enough time to do everything I want to do when I'm up there, because I'll be in a group's, decision making situation instead of my own, where I can go do the things I want to do, and instead of having to sit there with a group or on the group's timetables to do this, and this. So, I'm kind of fucking pissed about that, when it comes to my mental health or mental health situations. But, I don't have to put up with it. I mean, obviously, independence is what I need, and I need more friends. I need more friends that I'm going to be able to learn to travel with, I'm going to need more friends that I'm going to be able to learn to travel with, because only my Uber ride only gets me so far. My Uber ride only gets me so fucking far to only be able to travel within a certain, in certain destinations within Torrington or the Torrington area, that I can't travel from point A to point B. I mean, I literally can't. I have no friends with a car. I know no one with a car. I mean, people sometimes ask me too. It's like, oh, hey, can you get to this poetry event to read? I'm like, sorry, unless it's done online where I can give you a pre-recorded video, or unless it's done where I can actually, work something out to get a ride, I can't make it, I'm literally kind of fucking stuck as an artist in a way, because I don't have the resources yet to branch out or advance as much as I would like to be able to do the things I would like to do and prosper, People see me doing good, people see me advancing, people see me doing well, but, I'm very fucking frustrated about it. I'm very fucking frustrated about it. I don't want to make this about a complaining video either. I really don't want to sit here and complain for 24/7, but I am frustrated. I am very frustrated, because what started out as a simple thing for me just turned into a hijack thing, because people are jealous, or people have some issues about what I want to do for my own benefit, So, but I'm doing the best I can, Either that, or somebody's mad at me because they're throwing scissors right off my fucking, whatever that is, I swear I have ghosts in here. I swear I have ghosts. You literally just saw that fall, right? I swear I got fucking ghosts, like, shaking shit and stuff. It's like, literally just like scissors just started flying at me. Anyways, anyways, I'm alright. I'm alright for the most part. I'm doing the best I can. I don't know. My mom did get out of surgery today. I wanted to say my mom got out of surgery. She's doing alright. I did talk to her. She's doing alright. She's still in that stage where she's still getting cleansed out, and she's still going through a lot where, she needs to take some time for her, so, but she was in good spirits, and she is doing alright, so, hopefully she's going to be doing well, and hopefully, she does have to go back in for surgery in 6 months, only because they want to make sure that they took care of everything for her situation and etc. So she will have to go back in 6 months just to be re-looked at to make sure everything is taken care of. So hopefully everything is gonna be good for her, and then she'll be able to be fine. But I am hoping that my mother actually comes up at some point. My mother, there's a time where my mother's friends would give us some time, me and my mother time to be able to go to Walmart or Goodwill or something. I mean, I'm trying to do that on my own without my mother and with using this Uber ride to give myself the time I would normally get when my mother would come up to be able to go to a store and look and etc. I'm so tired of fucking doing things the fucking state of Connecticut's way. It's not even fucking funny. They have their own agendas, and the thing is too, they've had their own agendas and things and a lot of shit that some of it had affected, the arts and the other artists I was working with and etc. Especially some of them in the black community, because they're hiring some people from Hartford and etc. that obviously are taking jobs through mental health agencies that they're a part of and etc. And there's a huge debate and stuff like that there's a huge debate about me being able to even fucking trust the fucking state of Connecticut, basically. I don't even fucking trust the state of Connecticut. They're basically lying to me, or they're basically not telling me everything. People know some shit. There's some shit going on, and people know something, and people are not opening their goddamn mouths. I'm pretty sure of that, because I know there's things going on behind the scenes that I don't really know about that people are aware of, and I'm sitting here like, fuck, why am I not aware of this, or why wasn't I told this, or why, because the state of Connecticut is the fucking state of Connecticut, and they got to make an excuse for their jobs why I have a part, in my mental health and etc., and why I'm still kind of, a part of the program. I still gotta, kind of deal with certain things a certain way, and it's like, I told the people at this point, I'm almost barely not even a part of the program. Whether I'm in the program, whether my presence still kind of is a part of the program or not, there's things I'm not a part of for the program. Because I won't be part of a mental health program, because it's like, there was a lot of dramas and things, especially regarding the arts and stuff, that kind of affected, me as an artist and a performer and stuff like that really had gotten in the way of things and really had caused a lot of hurt and conflictions and dramas. So, for me personally, I can't control other people, and what other people have done to me is really bullshit, etc. But it was also the free will choices of the people who decided to work with certain mental health agencies and etc. here in town. I can't stop people from doing the same shit again, and, completely, because if the same shit happens, eventually I'm going to have to get a lawyer, because this is absolutely fucking ridiculous. I mean, I've requested my space. I've spoken on getting my space. I've spoken on the fact that, I want to be separate from here on. I put that boundary out, that it's a boundary. It's not even the request. It's more of a boundary that, look, I'm going to go do this over here, because I'm going to do for myself and out of the agency and out of this. Don't come near me. Don't cross this. Don't have your clients cross me or this or that while I'm over here doing this, because I want my life separately, But the fucking state of Connecticut doesn't get that, The fucking state of Connecticut is up to something, the thing that still never is resolved because nobody knows. I mean, they need to make it a requirement, The state of Connecticut needs to make it a requirement. If they're going to call a crisis line on somebody, right? If the state of Connecticut's going to call a crisis line on somebody, they need to make it a requirement to that person who makes for that person who makes a complaint or a situation or a problem, they need to basically, they need to basically be able to tell you who the fuck, made the complaint or etc. I know obviously people are going to get kind of upset, because obviously nobody wants to be the bad guy or be put in that position, especially if that position might make them kind of like a target or something. People might feel, especially if you're not feeling well or, this or that, I'm going to be a target. I'd rather have you be a fucking target instead of every fucking artist I know, because I don't know which fucking artist or which fucking person made the fucking complaint in the first place. I'm so fucking pissed. Regardless, somebody made a complaint to the crisis team, which almost somebody was trying to say something to try to get me put into a hospital, basically because of a situation, because I was something about the bookstore at the Kiwanis or something because of a situation. And I don't know who the fuck made that complaint. It could be the state of Connecticut playing bullshit to see how I would react, right? It would be the state, it's totally the state's MO, because who knows how to call a fucking crisis line on somebody struggling with their mental health besides the mental health workers themselves, So, I don't trust the mental health workers. There's some underlined shit that people have told me that somebody had called the crisis line that are trying to get in the way of me and the other artists, or me and the other things I'm trying to do out in the community or with my social supports. But then again, there are some artists and some people here in town that did know that I stopped talking to, but there's artists and stuff that, that did know that I did struggle with my mental health and etc. And they might have been looking for a way to try to, because they had some concerns or etc. But, they're the problems. They're becoming the problems. And doing that more is going to put them more into a problem, because that's just a huge trigger for me. That itself is a huge trigger, And I think that's why people want to keep their names quiet, because they know they're fucking triggering me, and they know exactly what it might do, and it could actually have repercussions in different things that people are hoping it might trickle down into, like, the other artists that I work with, or the other situations that I work with, and etc., that will really kind of ruin shit for me because of my mental health and, the way that it's probably going to play out and I respond to. But, it's like, enough of the bullshit. When there's bullshit, there's bullshit. And a lot of people know I should have got a lawyer a long time ago, A lot of people know I should have got a lawyer a long time ago, I don't trust this Advocacy Unlimited thing, because Advocacy Unlimited is very, I've taken the class, but a lot of it was very much bullshit, A lot of it was a lot of the bad negativity bullshit that I was trying to get away from about mental health and etc. that really kind of brought forth a lot of problems, to me and my life, Not to mention my ex-girlfriend, or an ex-girlfriend I had that got me into smoking pot and etc. I met her through taking a class for Advocacy Unlimited, which is a mental health course for learning how to advocate and be a light and a source for mental health and etc. I met one of my ex-girlfriends through Advocacy Unlimited, through a course I was taking through them, through mental health and being able to, advocate and show my advocacy work and etc. I actually met my ex-girlfriend through them. But unfortunately, that same ex-girlfriend was one of the main people who kind of, didn't know how to handle things when it came to certain social situations and etc. When it came to me as an artist and stuff like that. So I'm never going to want her back in my life, because obviously she was the wrong choice of person to choose to represent me or be anything better to my life. The point being is that, the mental health people know very well that there are certain things that they're doing, or certain things that are being said that possibly were done, or etc. And I think people trying to see how I'm going to react, because people know that there's certain triggers that they're trying to bring up certain triggers that people are trying to bring up to try to see how I would react, or see how I would respond, to see if I've grown, or etc., to test the waters, to see how far they can go, and etc., That's why I don't trust the mental health people, because they have agendas in this, especially when it came to some of the other artists and etc., And T'Challa Williams was a big fucking part of that. T'Challa Williams and some of her, Hartford friends, like Kamora's Corner and etc., were big fucking parts of, of a sabotaging situation that really kind of was a part of a betrayal that kind of really betrayed me and betrayed the situation as me as an artist, and me as some other things as well. So I had to walk away from a lot of mental health things. Originally I wasn't going to put any mental health things totally into what I was doing as an artist. Me as an artist was helping my mental health, and it was helping an aspect of my mental health and my mental growth and, my mental wellness, but I wasn't still going to put recovery issues into me as an artist. Recovery issues is another part of my life and another part of things that I don't really want, partaking too much into my art, although my art still kind of can play a part in that, which in some cases, we'll say too that if I'm going to make, I'm working on possibly thinking about making a book, right? I've been thinking about making a book, and I will say that mental health issues and things, play a big part in possibly what a book could be about with me, um, but I don't really want mental health being the main source of everything that I'm about, or taking over everything about that I'm about, or being the catalyst for everything that is me, because I'm more than my mental health. I have a life outside of mental health. I do things that are more, more positive and stuff out of mental health, and I'm probably a lot more positive than some of even my peers out of the mental health program than I do for, that I would probably get involved within the mental health program or for my mental health. So, there's people pretty much mad at me. There's people pretty much mad at what I'm trying to do and etc. But, there's people mad at the fact that I could even possibly publish a book. There's people mad that I could probably publish a book on mental health because some people might not want to be around the topics or those topics about the fact that I've written about those certain topics or situations that I've dealt with within mental health. But, regardless, it is what it is, But I still don't trust the state, because the state really, I think, is trying to get me to react, or was trying to get me to react, or trying to get me to respond in a way that they expected me to kind of almost overreact against Taquana. They've expected me to almost overreact against John Noki to have some type of crisis, because the people are thinking that because of the Joseph Arthur thing, that this was an artistic, the artistic stuff was the problem, or Joseph Arthur was necessarily the problem. But little do they know that I actually spent several months in therapy before my mental health therapist retired, because he retired recently, probably like a year or two ago, or months ago. Who the fuck knows at this point? But he retired at some point, and we kind of talked about what exactly was going on with my mental health at the time, and what I actually felt was more of a trigger, and what was more of a problem when it came to certain people and individuals compared to what people might have thought would be, an artistic situation with, like, Joseph Arthur or the artist, It's more of a people situation. If the person is toxic, the person is toxic, I have a problem with people. I have a problem with, like, narcissists. I have a problem with people. I do. There's certain people I just can't go fucking near without, like, But, for the most part, though, I'm pretty much stable. I'm pretty much do what I do. It's just that, people like to challenge my stability. People like to challenge the things that I do, And, I don't know. So somebody called the fucking crisis line, and nobody's able to come truthful to me about who called the fucking crisis line. So at this point, I don't trust the fucking mental health, and I almost don't. And there's some artists on my page still that it might stay, might not stay, depending on the situation. Because there's some artists that I still kind of connect with, the Noki Gallery and stuff, or I've met through the Noki Gallery that are on my page, but I may be removing them at some point, and I'm not even going to hide that from people. I probably will maybe removing them, because it's like, I'm no longer a part of supporting John Noki and the Noki Gallery, and I don't need to, have people, like, supporting John Noki and etc. on my page, because, apparently, what started off as a simple, disagreement over the way John handled his business practices and etc., and then some other, business practice issues and etc. with, Taquana and etc., turned into a lot of dramas. It's turning into some added dramas and things, because some people are trying to say somebody had called crisis, somebody had this, somebody was worried about this and that, somebody was worried about how I was feeling, or how, I don't know, some people might have been feeling unsafe or etc., or whatever the fuck they wanted to say, right? So it's turning into a lot of mental health bullshit that really shouldn't be anywhere near the arts, or shouldn't be affecting the things that they're affecting, Which, if I had my way, I would walk out of the program, get myself a lawyer, sue the fucking program, because I want to sue the fucking program so fucking bad in some cases for some of the shit they feel like they're getting away with. I would like to sue the fucking program and some of the fucking clients, and move the fuck to another town, and move the fuck to a whole nother situation, because I don't deal with this fucking shit very well anymore, and I'm just like at the point in my life where enough's enough. Enough's enough. But I'm dealing with a lot. I'm trying to do a lot. I'm trying to evolve and grow and prosper. And point being is that we're not gonna like be able to grow or move past certain things until some people come forward and confess certain things, or come forward and be able to really be honest with certain things about certain situations. I mean, it's kind of affecting my trust in people and my trust in being able to trust people. People want me to trust a therapist for the program and stuff too. Like, oh, well, we trust another female therapist. I'm like, I don't want to trust a female therapist for one, because I told you I didn't want to, and even more so because people in your fucking program are kind of like have their own agendas and things, and nobody really, there's some people out there that don't really want me to succeed or grow or prosper and etc. So, people are being fucking two-faced and etc. People are being fucking two-faced and etc. Especially when it comes to me as an artist. When they see me grow and prosper, when they see me do things, there's some underhanded things or some underhanded comments and etc. that people are doing that obviously, I know there's some shit going on. I just don't know per se what is being said or what is being done or etc. behind, on the other end of shit, because obviously some people were left behind, and they were behind for a reason. I'm going to a whole nother forward situation. I'm going to a whole nother situation where some people aren't included. I'm going for me. I'm not going for anybody else. So, anyways, just wanted to get that off my chest. I'm gonna actually get offline, but yeah, I just don't feel like I can trust my mental health workers. I mean, I would like to trust my mental health workers, and sometimes it's like you have no choice but to trust your mental health workers, but everybody has an agenda. See, that's the thing. The artists in Torrington have an agenda for themselves and their artist career and stuff, and there's artists in Torrington that don't really have respect or don't really have, respect or, proper respect, or, don't even really give a shit about me. They're pretty much just there for themselves, and they don't care if I prosper or grow. They just want the fame and fortune for themselves, That's pretty much what some of the artists want, like fucking Taquana and fucking John Noki, right? So, and not only that, then you got the fucking state of Connecticut probably trying to cause a mental health crisis, or trying to cause a mental health issue of trying to make some type of, hectic situation where, it's trying to see how you're going to respond or how you're going to fucking react to it. And it's just like, I don't want to fucking deal with this shit. I don't have time to fucking deal with this shit. Go fuck off. Anyways, I just want to get that off my chest, but I am going to get offline, because I'm just at that point where I just need to go lay down, and, it's almost 11 o'clock at fucking night, and I just got to go lay down and do what I got to do, but anyways,